So the year was 2012, and in that year we received an amazing resource focusing directly on the Star Wars Expanded Universe novels. And it didn't contain or focus material on the comics. There's a Star Wars comics companion, but this book that I'm going to go ahead and spotlight today focuses solely on the Star Wars novels. It's over 34 years of EU history in this book, and this book is it's a hefty book. Star Wars, The Essential Reader's Companion by Pablo Hidalgo. So despite how you feel about this gentleman, he did write this amazing book. I'm sure it was a team effort. And once again, it spans 34 years of Legends history. Over 450 pages. Once again, it's a hefty book. Great resource. It covers 145 novels roughly, over 100 YA novels, and spotlights short stories that were contained in Star Wars Insider magazine, Star Wars Galaxy magazine, e-novellas, if you remember those. I had forgotten until I was skimming through them. There were some short stories that I forgot existed. So I definitely highly value this book because I feel it's a part of EU history, and it's an amazing source that's super well organized, well put together. It's not a jumbled mess. It's divided up into, and I'll show you a preview here, divided up into eras. So each chapter is a certain era. So it kicks off with Lost Tribe of the Sith, the Old Republic, and then it goes into the prequel era. It goes into the Clone Wars, the Dark Times, and so on and so on. So the last book I believe that's featured here is X-Wing Mercy Kill. So you might notice if you purchase this book that it doesn't have Razor's Edge, Honor Among Thieves. It doesn't even have Crucible, because those were published, I believe, after 2012. So, but still an amazing resource. Came out 2 years before us as EU fans received that big bombshell of a news that Disney was gonna go and, you know, make their own canon. So even though I wanted to talk about this briefly, that we do have so many online resources. We have Wikipedia. I'm sure most of you are familiar with Wikipedia. Also, in addition to that, if you are curious about a certain character that's covered in a novel, a ship, an event, a storyline that's covered in various novels, all you have to do is Google and you have everything on your fingertips. In addition to that, we have YouTube as well, and Discord, where we get to know each other as EU fans and ask questions and get help. There is a big positive Star Wars Expanded Universe, Star Wars Legends community, where we learn. Just yesterday, I was watching a video from a gentleman that was super enthusiastic about a short story that personally me, who's been an EU fan since 1997 roughly, discovered. So I saw this video. I had never, despite being into EU since back then, never heard of this story, never knew it existed, and it was a story on Kip Duran, which is an amazing character that I really love. So I was so enthusiastic about it after watching that video that I purchased the book that's that short story is featured in. So my point is that there are so many resources. However, even though we have those resources, this here is an important part of EU history. I do recommend having it because overall it's a one-stop shop on everything that has to, well, almost everything that has to do with EU novels. It's not perfect. It's far from perfect. However, it's still extremely cool, extremely recommended to have as well. So beautiful panels. Kicks off with Lost Tribe of the Sith. Each book, it has a book cover, the original cover, and the author information, publication history, year it was published, and a great summary of each each book. So even though it does not feature or focus on Star Wars comics from Dark Horse, it does have spotlights throughout the book. For example, there is Knights of the Old Republic, and the whole book is once again spotlights on short stories on Star Wars Insider magazine. A couple of things I wanted to show you guys really quick. For example, when it talks about Star Wars Shadowhunter, gives you this short story, Restraint, and it has a big section on the Clone Wars campaign. So I'll spotlight or show you guys different parts of the book. Huge section on New Jedi Order, information on Star Wars gamer magazines, and short stories sprinkled throughout the whole book. So it's extremely comprehensive, like I said. One thing I love too, these are some of my favorites. It features YA novels. Big section on New Jedi Order, Legacy of the Force, Fate of the Jedi, and everything written up to 2012. So I love this book. I highly recommend it, and I really am happy with how they organized this book and how they published it.